Welcome back to the Keep Going podcast. Vin Kennedy. I'm your host, Vin Kennedy. Today, a solo episode. First, I had a track day, which is like a speed day for me when it comes to marathon prep or any type of like running training. It just breeds a beast. Like it literally is just such confidence builders for me because now I'm hitting paces that I used to, want to run a mile at that I can now hold for distance. And it's really cool to see and track like the progress. So I did a post about this on my, I think it was Instagram story, but I post my stats and my times on my watch to track progress and show just consistency and hopefully inspire somebody to get started or to keep going. Because it's so easy to get stagnant and kind of just like want to quit when it gets hard, want to quit when you don't see progress. And everybody's in that place or has been in that place. I love personally like being able to see the progress along the way from just staying consistent. Like I say it all the time that I'm not that talented in running. And I don't believe I am. I was like one of the slowest kids on every sports team I ever played, but I am like relentlessly consistent. And a year ago, I ran my first marathon in October. I ran a 3:23, the last 6 miles of Boulder, Colorado. Absolutely exploded, blew up, and it was awful. I mean, it would have been much better than the 3:23, but it wasn't. And now, fast forward a year, and last weekend I paced a 3:30 marathon. So, like, to be able to run a 3:23 as my best, obviously at the time, with one marathon prep to now pacing a 3:30 is like, it's night and day. Like, that's crazy. And then even like another step forward, the coolest part is that like speed is relative to the person. So for me now, I'm getting to a place where like anything under like 6:30 just still sounds fast, though I could hit it for some distance and I could probably half marathon at that pace. Like until I do that, it's just going to sound fast. And that's just how it goes. You like stack the confidence and the belief in yourself and the belief in your training to kind of show you what you can do, and then you adjust from there. You could go back and forth and say like you should have the belief anyway, but sometimes you need to see the proof is in the pudding, especially when it's with things that either scare you or you haven't done before. But I say that because at the same time I was hitting a track workout earlier that day. I had a friend, Austin, who lives in Kentucky now, and I'm hitting like, I hit a 6:11 mile and I'm walking around like at Modern Day High School, like, which is a closed down high school, and it's just me on this track. I think there was one other like grown ass man who probably has a full family at home. You're walking around and it's like, you feel good, you feel confident. And earlier in the day, I know that Austin was hitting times at like, 5:30 for like mile repeats. And I'm like, wow, this is so scalable, and like, just, you'll never be the best at it. And I think that's the coolest thing. Like you just got to surround yourself with people that are doing it bigger and better. And I was harping on this last episode that it'll just raise your floor. And then you just keep pushing from there and take it where you want. And don't forget to have fun along the way. I think a lot of people that get into racing or into running in like a competitive aspect completely forget that like a Boston qualifying time is supposed to be a fun journey to get to then get to the race. And if you want to even PR Boston, go for it. But you're supposed to have fun. Most people aren't getting paid to do this. At least paid to actually run the race. You're paying to run the race. So enjoy it. Like, it's such a crazy thing that we put so much pressure on our goals that are self-imposed, and people are like tend to lose themselves in it. I think it's nuts. Like, I understand it. I get caught up in it as well, but like, the bottom line is if I'm not having fun, I'm not doing it. It's cool. It's cool to see that like a dude like Austin's out there hitting 5:30s. I'm out there hitting 6:11s. And then, my little sister's out here hitting like sub 8 minute miles. And to all of us, that's all the same thing. Like, that's just fast. That's what it is. And I think it's so cool how that scale could just slide back and forth, and there's no one metric for everybody. It's speed is relative to the person, and progression is relative to the person, and so is just overall growth. But yeah, I spoke about this before too. It was like along the lines of like, you could be David Goggins to get started, but you have to be you to continue. And it's the same thing with running. Like, you could realize like, once you realize you're not Eliud Kipchoge, like you're not one of the top marathoners in the world, you kind of take the pressure off yourself and realize like, oh, I'm supposed to have fun. Like, I'll be the best I could be. I'll keep pushing. I'll make progress. I'll do the little things right. But like just tap into your own power, because especially when it comes to like running fast, like especially if you're from the US, like you're not the best in the world. Like it's very highly unlikely. I don't want to say that people can, because you definitely can, but most of the time, the average person going out for a run is not going to be the best marathon in the world, the best anything in the world. So you might as well enjoy it. And then the second piece was on Thanksgiving, we had our second annual turkey trot. The first one was hosted by Dan we went to Monroe, we went to Jamesburg, ran the trails for 10 miles. So when we saw Thanksgiving was approaching, we have an Instagram group chat called NJ Run Group. We wanted to kind of just get people together, see what we could do, and hit 10 miles or 5 miles, whatever anybody wanted to do. And the more we kept posting about it, we started getting some traction, started understanding that we were going to get probably between like 20 to 30 people. And that's exactly what happened, which is so cool, because the year prior, we had 5 people. And 2 of them were myself and Dan. So to add, I think we had 24, 25 people was just really, really cool. And to get people together on a day, obviously, to be thankful for, and just share some miles, share some laughs. We had some donuts and coffee. Just really community, right? Like just to kind of get community together. It's so cool to see that, like, that group chat in the beginning, like, you know, people are hesitant, people don't know each other. It's up to like 90 people. And most of the time it's like not someone that was even like, I guess like you could say like an OG starting a conversation. Like it's people that either live up in North Jersey, talking to people that live by the shore, and like even sometimes in there people communicating, I thought they knew each other prior and they don't. And I think that's the coolest thing, where you're giving people like a space to really connect, and it's bonding over running, and it's going deeper than running, which is the coolest part. I think it was 24, 25 people that came out the morning of Thanksgiving at like 6 or 7 a.m. just to run miles with people that they probably met on the internet. After that, me and Dan were kind of like reflecting, and I sent this long text to him that ended up sparking basically this episode. But I was saying, like, when I first started posting on social media, like it was such a selfish, like, main character game. Like I was absolutely shredded. I cared so much about like physical appearance and like my personal physical appearance, and like being the dude in the gym and like hardcore, like David Goggins. And the evolution that has taken is so cool, because that is like the last thing that I care about now. And I had no real purpose outside of like just wanting to look good. I even like made like fake enemies, and it wasn't nothing real. But yeah, I was really just ignoring the other work that had to be done outside of the physical transformation that I kind of had take place. But I watched my sister run a half marathon in April, like right before I stepped on the bodybuilding stage that I stepped on, and that like changed a lot, because I was like, wow, like she had like 2 or 3 weeks to get ready, and she did it. And watching her cross the finish line and seeing like self-belief really in someone else, and like, not that I caused it, but we had a conversation prior, I helped her like get ready for it, and just seeing that, I was like, oh, this, like, there's something there. Like there's something to watching other people do things that they don't think they can, or that scare them, and helping them in any small way, like along that process. Yeah, like I used to want like 100,000 followers, and like just to be an athlete for like these big gym brands, and it's like the last thing I want anymore. It's cool to see too, because like I've realized the importance of like, yeah, you could have 200,000 followers or 2,000 followers that you actually know personally and like are friends with and have conversation with, like real conversation, and you could help and they can help you, and it's just like a community. Like that's what has been the real evolution, is that it went from such a selfish like social media game to like you're impacting other people, even if it's in a small way, just by like leading your life and like being a good person. It's cliche and corny, but it's like just been the most rewarding journey that I've ever been on, literally. Really having the smallest effect on someone else to have a better day or have a better journey of life as well, and do something that they think they can, or help them with self-belief or confidence, and just impact. and it's awesome. Like, I don't even know other words to put it in. I know I kind of keep repeating myself, but it's so true. I've removed myself from it as far as like, I'll smash my goals, I'll do my thing, but like, I realize now what the real why is with it and what the real impact is, and that's what drives me. I think I'm going to leave this here, but yeah, that's all I got. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share.